In this video, I'm going to read you just a little bit about the law of correspondence. And at the end of me reading this, I'm going to show you pictures of orbs that I have taken. And while you're seeing them, I will be explaining to you how you too can take pictures like this. I will explain my method completely as best I can. But it was important to me to read this first because it explains the importance of our emotional body and how to keep positive thoughts in our mind, because we are creators and we're creating when we fear and when we're angry and when we're revengeful or hateful. We're creating even with those. Now, if you're able to look at this light with your camera, like I want to show you how to do, it's my desire that people keep their minds in a positive place, because we don't know yet what will come of seeing this light, whether it helps us with encodement of certain thoughts. So certainly when you're looking at the light or filming it, it would be good not to entertain any negative feelings. And now I will read to you the law of correspondence. This is from a book by Norma Milanovich, and it's called The Light Shall Set You Free. And she also has different ones of the Ascended Masters talk a little bit about these laws. They are universal laws, and they're all laws that we really need to understand. Okay, now this law of correspondence. Long before the emergence of the new physics, many spiritually minded and artistic people understood the unity and wholeness of the universe. William Blake wrote, "To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour." And then it goes, I'm going to skip down because it talks about different views of metaphysics that won't be of great interest. And I'll skip down to this part. The last view, though, I want to read that part. The M2 view. Later we moved to the M2 view of the world based on the dualism articulated in Descartes' separation of science to deal with the physical world, leaving the church to deal with the mind-spirit view of the world. This view assumes that two types of energies make up the universe: matter energy and mind-spirit. Within recent time we have moved to a M3 metaphysics, which reverses the original premise and says that mind gives rise to matter, since the basic energy of the universe is consciousness. First and foremost is universal consciousness, which also is called the golden liquid light, the God force, or the basic oneness of the universe. The second consciousness to be considered is the degree to which individuals can move to the mainstream of the universal consciousness. Each individual is unique with his or her own human beingness or essence. The essence of the individual determines his or her consciousness, and consciousness is the basis for the human mind. When we expand our minds, we acquire a higher spiritual consciousness. As we grow spiritually, we become one with the God force. This view of the world is supported further by our understanding that the world is holographic. A hologram is a photographic image that projects a three-dimensional image which shows various views and images depending on the perspective. Contained in each small part of the whole is the whole itself. A holographic view of the world changes many of our views of reality. Consciousness is the basic reality. Each of us has a unique characteristic which can constitute the basis of our essence. Our consciousness is expressed through our intentions of our values. We develop perceptions of the world around us, which is our way of imposing an order of regularity on this world. We tend to perceive the world in ways which are consistent with our expectations, beliefs, and past experiences. Thus, we create our own experiences. Everything is connected to everything else. Nothing in the universe exists separately or in isolation. Everything we do, say, or believe affects everything else immediately. When we behave in a positive, nurturing way, it has an effect not only on the environment around us, but also on the many complex planes of the universe, as discussed previously. Each piece contains the whole. Every cell within us contains intelligence and the whole pattern of our essence. We are beings with interacting systems which make up our wholeness. Similarly, we are part of others and of the world around us. There is a basic wisdom and knowledge within the universe which is beyond our physical reality. While there are many other implications of the holographic universe, each of them impresses upon us the degree to which we create our reality, and therefore must act responsibly. As more people gain this expanded consciousness and begin to live acknowledging responsibility for themselves and others, Earth moves closer to the fifth dimension. All this documents that our views and perceptions of the world are indeed changing. No longer can we see ourselves as separate, disconnected entities. Instead, we are maturing into a species that must understand that we are part of a whole finely tuned ecosystem, each part connected to and affecting the other parts. The law of correspondence is the key for understanding this connection. So let us read what El Morai had to say about this important principle. It is with great pleasure that I begin to explain the law of correspondence, the law that eludes many initiates interested in the path of oneness. This law, often referred to as the principle of as above, so below, as below, so above, is the basis for understanding the interdimensional operations of the universe. The aspirant who strives to increase his or her understanding of the universal laws must integrate the knowledge that all planes of existence exist simultaneously, and that in this synchronicity all is in motion. In examining the law of correspondence, it is important to understand three planes of existence. They are the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. These three planes comprise the basis for operations and govern the harmony and energy convergence of the soul wishing to bring heaven on earth. While there are many interdimensional levels existing within these three planes, all vibrating at different rates, for the purposes of this lesson, it is important to focus only on the three major divisions just described. The term correspondence, corresponding, implies that all things existing within three planes of existence, whether seen or unseen, exist in harmony or agreement with the all. There is only oneness, and this ideal is critical to absorb. Just as individuals cannot step out of this oneness, neither can any of the other elements found on these planes. Significant to this understanding is that all are truly in harmony one to another. Even though human beings perceive themselves to be limited to what they see and experience, this does not mean that they are separated from the larger picture or the macrocosm. Key to understanding the law of correspondence is to know that agreements have been made in universal mind, that all are in harmony with divine law. The universal mind is the force field, or golden liquid light, called the God force. Humans have been created and placed on earth to learn this, and to become co-creators with this force field, which is the basis for creation. If humans remain separate, never seeing this connection, they will pass out of embodiment in a separated state of existence. If they open their minds to this knowledge and see the universe in a different light, by understanding that each individual is a part of this wondrous force field, then they are destined to move forward in time and become demigods. We smile at the term gods in exile, for it depicts the situation and frustration that we perceive humanity to be in today. The physical manifest world around is so strong that it keeps many in a state of unconsciousness. This state of mind is likened to that of the sleeping giant who, when cloaked in the sleep state, is quiet and subdued. Awakened, the giant's potential can come forth to achieve great things. Magnificent deeds are destined to come forth from these sleeping giants in the seventh golden age. Those who awaken will usher in the new millennium for the children of the golden dawn. The law of correspondence is the law that holds the oneness together. As mentioned, its name is synonymous with the golden liquid light. Contained within this pulsating, vibrating field of endless energy is all that is and ever will be. It is the etheric or cosmic glue that holds everything together and connects the physical planes with the mental and spiritual ones. Knowing that all exists simultaneously in each moment of time-space means that the initiate has the power to affect any and all things in any moment of time. The reasons why many have not accomplished this thus far on their journeys are because, number one, they have not understood this law and consequently have not known that they could do so. And, number two, humanity's will is weak. The mind, connected with the universal mind of the all, is the key to change and to creation. The strengthening of the mind comes from discipline and willpower. The strength of will comes from the heart. Individuals have been distracted by the physical, manifest world, spending much of their time entertaining their five senses. Focusing attention on the outside has contributed to their forgetting the power within. Going within allows the initiate to connect the mind to other planes and dimensions of reality, for it is here that the soul connects with the all. When this connection is made, all power is returned. In the journey comes the awakening that all dimensional realities are connected. It is the wisest of souls who learns how to access these other realms. The physical plane vibrates at the lowest vibrational rate, while the plane of spirit vibrates at the highest. Within each plane are also subplanes of existence, but it is not necessary to describe that phenomena here. It is only significant to know. Let us use the thermometer as an example to explain these concepts and show how easy it is to visualize the law of correspondence at work. The thermometer registers numerical readings ranging from low to high. Nowhere are there markings which indicate absolute divisions separating one from another, such as hot or cold. Yet we are aware that all measurements are contained within, and each division has its own unique vibration or measurement, different one from another. The various different vibrations contained within the all exist simultaneously, like the variations within the thermometer. These range from the physical to the spiritual planes for the purpose of this instruction. The difference between the thermometer and universal mind is that there are billions of unending variations within universal mind, whereas the thermometer registers a limited range. Yet every change of condition will affect the reading of the thermometer. What is significant about the law of correspondence is that all laws exist within this correspondence. Therefore, all is contained within it. One plane of existence is affected by another, and one plane affects another. All occur simultaneously. Consequently, all changes in one plane of existence affect the other planes as well. This includes thoughts, words, emotions, and actions. These celestial realms and angelic, devic, and elemental kingdoms are all interconnected with decisions humans make on earth. There is no escaping this. All are one and all correspond to one another. This also applies to humanity's decisions and how they affect other people and the world. When the aspirant begins to realize this truth, the world takes on a new meaning. With this knowledge, power within the mind and heart begins to grow. This is the beauty of the understanding. This knowledge is destined to transform the world when initiates everywhere rise and begin to increase their individual light frequencies through the power of the inner journeys and the mind. Since light is the highest vibrational frequency known to humanity, it is reasonable to conclude that spirit is light. Since spirit is the creator with the power of manifestation, learn to illumine the mind and the heart with the light of the God force. Dear ones, work with this state of mind to further your understanding of the law of correspondence. Become that which you already are. Become one with your destiny. I, El Morai, will work with any initiate who calls my name in the light of the most radiant one. I shall direct the attention of the soul to finding the corresponding path that shall enlighten your world. Ask and you shall receive. The time is now. Come forward out of exile and build heaven on earth. Okay, now that I've read that, I'm going to skip over here. Hopefully I'll go into these saved pictures and put it on play. And I'll be showing you the orb pictures, which the reason that I want you to see them is because this is light. And this is some of the things light does. And I think there's a message in this, and it's important that people learn how to take pictures of this. And that's why I'm going to explain that to you. Okay. Now, as I show you these different pictures that I have taken, I want you to know that this was taken with a little Kodak camera. I'll put it up here. It's this one. It's called the Kodak EasyShare Z710. Okay, what I do is I wait till evening when the sun has gone down, and so there's no light coming in the windows to interfere. And I don't have any light on in the room except for one light, which is the LED light. It's just a little light. I'll show you one. This is one. I have one with an arm that moves around so that I can put it in whatever position I want it to be in. Okay, I take this light and I situate it on a high shelf in the room so that its light kind of goes down over me. Its rays kind of envelop me. But the rest of the room is dark. Now I take my camera after that and I turn it on. But see this little shutter that comes up? You don't want it up because that's going to make light. That's going to give you the flash, which you don't want, so you shut it. And then I use my close-up part of this to go in real close, sometimes back in again. I'd take it all kinds of ways, closer, 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 or further back, depending on how far into the orb I want to get the picture. Okay, here's the important thing. Now let me find something, I'll show you. This is one little thing I use. It's the top to some kind of little glass container. But if you will look for these places where light makes a shiny gleam, you don't focus on your camera onto the glass like you're looking through the glass. You focus your camera onto little glints of light, anything shiny. As a matter of fact, anything shiny, whether it be glass or not. You'll see an orb in with this camera when you focus real closely up on it. And then you just snap the picture. And that's really all there is to it. A lot of people wanted to know how I do it. And some have even said, oh, this is taken with a microscope. No, these digital cameras have a pretty good little microscopic ability when you're focusing it upon shiny bits of light. Now, some people say, well, then maybe this is the camera doing that. And I say, there are little things in here that I see repeated that are inside my camera. Maybe they're debris, I don't know. But I do know there are some of the camera's inner workings showing up in these pictures, but certainly not all of this is the camera's inner workings. Like this picture, for instance. This is an orb of light that just twists in the middle. Light looks like orb, it looks round, and that's not its only way of looking. It can take itself and just twist itself or spread itself out like a fan or do any number of things that are very unusual and beautiful. Really, even if there was no spiritual connection, which I think there is, in all of this, this is an art form in and of itself. Look at this one, looks like a bowl with a big orb and a smaller one. So if a person was only interested, oh, this is interesting. This is a cloud in the sky. It was an unusual cloud, so I took a picture of it. But look over here. I'll move my camera a little bit. There's an orb. I wasn't even trying to get an orb in this picture. I didn't have a piece of glass I was filming through. This orb just showed up, as it does in many pictures I take of the sun. Take pictures of the sun. It's a good thing to do, because the sun has some magnificent orbs. You'll see when you take pictures of it. So I'm just going to go through these to entice you to want to do this. If you have further questions, you can ask your questions in the comment section, and I'll be glad to answer anyone. And these are still pictures of orbs. You may have seen some of my other videos where I have taken movies of the orbs where it's not still. And these orbs dance around and morph just every nanosecond. They're changing and moving. There are amazing things going on within the light right now. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is, but I have an idea. I will tell you what that idea is, because my friend and I, Gerald, when I went to visit him in Arizona, we took most of these pictures you're seeing now. And Gerald douses. He uses these rods to tell him yes and no to things that he asks. And we ask about this that we're viewing. And we got that it was orgone that we're looking at. Orgone energy. And then also that some of the little creatures that move about in this, that's another feature I want to tell you about this. When you're looking at it, you will see these little dark spots. Some of them look kind of like a spider moving around inside of this light. And that, we were told, was tachyon. Now, whether it's orgone and tachyon, I can't prove. That's just my theory. I believe he might be right on that. And it's up to individuals to determine for themselves what they think this is. But they have to admit it's something, and it's something rather wonderful, I think. And now you know how to do it. And I would be interested if anyone wanted to make pictures like this once they learn how, and they try it, and they get amazed at what they see. Because as you're taking these pictures and watching the light, even before you hit the button to take the picture, you will see the light doing some amazing things. And it gives you an idea that orbs are up to some kind of something, and it's anyone's guess exactly what it is. But I do think if we have some cooperation in what these orbs are all about, maybe it would be good for us to keep our thoughts in a positive place. Maybe we're being conditioned by the orbs ourselves, even in that condition that they are encoding us with the light encodement. it's still good advice to keep your thoughts positive and not to dwell on the negative. I will mention the fact that many people were looking for something miraculous to happen on December the 21st of this year, 2012. And a lot of the people who talked about this time said, no, it's already happening. Well, I've been taking these pictures for quite a while, for about a year. But I'm getting better and better at learning how to take the pictures. And this is something happening. I know there's something happening, whether it's an event that shakes the whole world awake or not. It's happening individually with people. And if it's not happening with you, then maybe you need to pursue it to begin to happen with you, because it can. You have to be more than just merely curious. Curious is all right in the beginning, because curiosity will lead you to look into things. But you need to be more than curious. You need to be researchers into this. Find out the truth for yourself and share what you find with others. And don't be concerned about absolutes or being right or wrong. Put your theories out there. Put your thoughts about this out there. Maybe we could use this, taking pictures of orbs and the things that they do and the beautiful light arrays that they make. Maybe we could use this as a way of people that do this kind of taking of pictures could communicate with one another and communicate perhaps with this light and find out its messages to us, because surely there's a message in here somewhere. I certainly know that light is more than what we currently understand it to be. And this picture right here makes me think, well, the people who thought of the string theory, that everything is made of little strings of light, quantum physicists who float that theory out there, they may be right, because it sure looks like light can make itself very stringy. And color is important too. Look how colorful this one is. You can take such beautiful pictures. Some of these, I think I'm going to get them framed and put on my wall, because they are just that beautiful. And stuff is going on within the orb. Different colors for different orbs. And some of the orbs, look at that one, that's a ton of them right there, man. They're just doing all kinds of things, moving constantly. But what was I saying about some of the orbs? Oh yeah, they're mutating because they give their light to another orb right beside them so easily. It's like they do know how to share their substance with other light orbs. And you'll see a big hole sometime develop in an orb you're looking at, and all the color fall out through that hole into another orb. It's really fantastic. I like this one because this looks exactly like a wine bottle, but it's an orb. And here's one of those crazy stringy ones, which is an orb that I see them do this. They just twist in the middle until they just come all fragmented. They become fragmented. And the colors, well, I've seen some pictures of people taking pictures of this sort of thing, and they don't use digital cameras. This person, I wrote his name down now, I forget who he was, but some of his art shows some of the orbs. But he says that he doesn't use digital cameras, and he also says that he adds additional light, like little laser lights of pink or green or blue or something. I don't do that. These are just the naturally occurring lights that are in the orbs. Don't need to add anything. All I ever do to the film once I have it on my computer is I darken or lighten it, and that's about it. Because sometimes the the photo has too much light in it. Until I take some of the light out, you can't see the colors or the dimensions at all. Look at this one, it looks like a mushroom. And they just look so many ways. Well, I've got to end now because I'm at 30 minutes.